Infinity War, probably. Hey, if we thought Avengers was in business, let's do a huge crossover with everything we have added
Oh
since then,
gosh,
including the Guardians.
you unintentionally referenced a meme that came from Infinity War there, Jag.
What?
So like there's a lot of people when Infinity War was being before it was unleashed on the world, people were like people quoted Marvel as saying like, yeah, it's the most ambitious crossover ever. So people created huge memes out of that. It's like, Marvel, Infinity War is the most ambitious crossover ever. Meanwhile, and they showed some some other weird crossover content. It was
Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transform. featuring Diana
shit like that
Patrick.
though. Legit. Yeah. People went crazy over the hype for Infinity War.
Well,
Memes
Infinity War
included.
is a very ambitious project to begin with.
Exactly.
Because we go on the pros and cons, but you have a massive cast to direct.
And therefore a lot of people to try and focus on, or like you have to pick and choose at this point.
Of money to spend.
Indeed. What was the budget of this? I've got
How much was the budget of this movie? Because
Let me
it
see.
must have been fucking huge.
Yeah, let me actually look this up here. Infinity War budget $316 million US.
And how much did it make?
Let me see here. Box office.
Because it's
$2.048 billion US dollars.
Wait, what was the budget again?
300 million.
Yeah,
wow.
300 million, and it made back more than double that, like over triple. And that's just like, wait, actually, that's about 6 times. That's about 6 times more than.
Just about.
6 or 7
So yeah,
times.
it was ambitious, but without doubt, they knew they were going to make it back that money. Because even if these movies sucked, people were going to see them.
Yeah, and I don't think you can.
That's kind of the Michael Bay way of thinking, eh, Jag?
Fuck off.
Don't care about reviews. on the sequel.
Fucking
Very
Michael
nice,
Bay.
Zenadean.
Don't get me started on that ass.
So we're ranking all the Transformers movies next.
I'll make it easy.
Bumblebee is at the top.
The only one that's decent. Everything else, real detail.
Everything else for me, haven't watched.
I would like to say Rest in Peace, the animated movie, or one of many of the animated movies.
Oh, sad face.
The best Transformers was Beast Wars. But anyways,
Yeah.
back to Infinity Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So
Holy shit.
this movie had a lot to do.
Oh shit, yeah.
A lot of characters to juggle, which they probably did mostly great with that.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel some people got sidelined it.
But that's
bound to
kind of
happen.
inevitable.
Hell, the movie starts
I
off
am
with
inevitable.
Thanos just walking up and killing Loki, making all the fangirls sad.
Literally destroying the Asgardian refugee ship that we just established in Thor Ragnarok, and suddenly it's just everybody's dead, pretty much. Almost everybody's dead.
Well, half of them are dead, I think.
Yeah.
And then people made a meme that, well, how does Thanos know he's killing exactly half of the people? That's not his gimmick, you idiots.
It's a guesstimation.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like, how many people are on your planet? Like 2 million? Yeah, I'll kill 1 million of them. That's about half, right?
Yeah, that'll work. No, like,
yeah. Wait,
that was
there's
the
more?
power of magic that...
Wait, how many more?
Yeah. Exactly.
But the movie kind of starts in like a second attack on New York. Less large scale, obviously.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because at this point, it's more calculated. Loki's attack on New York was more of like,
Destroy
I'm going to
everything.
destroy everything. Thanos, meanwhile, I'm after
Sends in a squad.
I'm after a specific thing. I'm going to send a couple strike agents down, get what I need, get the fuck out. They'll suffer later.
And we got a nice group of different heroes teaming up here. We have Peter Parker and Iron Man, but then we get Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Assistant Wong.
A terrific trio.
We have Bruce Banner as the cheerleader.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, Bruce Banner having to operate the Hulkbuster because of his.
Isn't that later in the movie?
Well,
yes.
Yeah, pretty much, I guess.
Like, I think that's the Battle of Wakanda.
Okay. Either way, it's there.
But yeah, the way this movie kind of deals with this is they kind of separate the characters into different groups so the movie could focus on rather group dynamics rather than individual characters like the first Avengers.
You got your little.
So that's why we kind of had 4 meet up the Guardians and split up the Guardians.
Yeah. All to do everything. Every segue, though, was important. Every split was key in what they were doing because they all tried to go after to protect these Infinity Stones. Thor wanted to make a weapon to kill Thanos, especially after Mjolnir got shattered, actually. He needed himself a weapon.
Got shattered. Well, I don't know what happened to Thor's god lightning powers after that then.
I guess they're in Mjolnir, apparently.
But he got that unleashed and he said he was stronger than ever and now he needs another weapon? Huh?
Well, if...
I think it was because even with his great new powers, they're still insufficient to kill Thanos, was kind of the point that he was putting across.
Okay.
Well, weapons are just cool.
I mean, yeah, and he probably didn't feel the same without a big-ass hammer. Like, he made himself worthy to wield that hammer, and then it was just shattered. So he probably felt really incomplete as a whole. Like, man, I worked to get that shit.
Is the hammer naturally heavy and it lightens for
No. The hammer is probably the weight of a normal hammer, but you have to be worthy to lift it.
Okay, so it gets heavier when you're not worthy.
It pretty much.
It becomes unliftable. Yeah.
But say you have it on the ground, it's not going to sink into the ground.
Oh yeah,
of
of course.
Weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a magnet kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like
sense,
that.
Yeah.
Metal is unbreakable. Anyways.
Break down!
You guys are losers.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
And we also see Captain America's team come back as well.
Yeah!
Helping with Vision and Wanda, which will eventually lead to Wakanda.
Yes. Everybody kind of has their final stand, except for the people who went to...
There's 2 final battles at the same time. The Battle of Titan and the Battle of Wakanda. Both great battles.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So that's the tricky part about talking about the final conflict. They kind of have 2.
But man,
well,
there was some huge emotional highs in all of this, because we knew this was going to be a tragedy, as it were.
Oh, coming into this movie, I'm sure I'm not the only person who did this, but everybody had a death list. Who is dying?
Because we knew some people had to for such a
And I got
huge...
$25 for having the most accurate death list of the book.
Nice. Holy shit.
Nice, you monster.
Agreed.
Let me put it this way: I was the only one with the balls to put Spider-Man on that list.
Oh, that was
Some
that was one of the most
neat.
emotional ones for me. Like, holy shit.
Well, in fairness.
That and Gamora. Like, good gravy.
Oh God, this has a high death count in this movie, guys.
Can we get James A. Janice to get a kill count on it?
Who's that?
Oh, sorry. It's a horror movie thing.
I don't know anything about horror movies.
Anyway.
Wah, wah,
Yeah.
wah.
Lots of people dying all over the place. Tragedy striking. It's Act 3 of a
probably
kabuki
one
play.
of the more important ones was Gamora because her death brought in the Soul Stone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have to give up what's most precious to you. And which really showed Thanos' like...
Resolve.
Yeah, and his versus like also a kind of human side of him. Like
Well,
he really
Thanos is kind of human, but also kind of unreasonable.
Of course. But in his own warped sense, we really got to see Thanos' mindset, and yet we still saw that he actually did really care for his daughters.
Kinda.
Well, apparently, like...
I don't know. What you do to Nebula? Can you call that kill?
I mean, he didn't kill her.
But he essentially tortured her, made her go completely cybernetic beyond any biological components to impress him.
Yeah, tough love.
Regardless, Thanos is very twisted in everything he does. But what we see through this is that he still has things that he cares about, even if it's in its own twisted way. And everything he does for a reason. And that was the focus of Infinity War, I think. I think you said it best after the movie. This was mainly Thanos' movie.
I think actually Son said that.
Somebody did anyways, regardless.
That's a true statement.
Yeah, it was very much Thanos' movie in that sense.
Oh yeah, Thanos kind of took the main stage in this movie.
100%. And sure, he was super imposing and whatnot, but like we still get to see exactly what he does and why he does it. And that alone.
So guys, I'm going to give you a tough question.
Okay.
Battle Wakanda or Battle on Titan?
Whew.
Titan.
I kind of want to say Titan myself.
That's Team Iron Man.
Yeah.
The other is Team Captain America.
We get to see a lot of consequences from both, but I think the consequences from Titan end up a lot more immediate and dire. It's all because everything kind of fell apart because Thanos played with Quill's emotions, essentially. And even Doctor Strange predicted that, though.
Well, I think Thanos, one way or another, was going to get out of it. Like, everyone's like, Peter Quill ruined the world and caused massive death. Not really.
Well, it was...
Because Doctor Strange went through 1,000,000 simulations.
Oh, exactly. But he knew what was going to happen regardless. And so he saw things turning out pretty much only one way to win. and that was to bargain for Tony Stark's life.
And hope a rat will open up a portal just in time.
Goddamn rats being the most powerful beings in history.
Rats saved the Marvel Universe.
Rats save a lot of things.
But
Just look at Splinter.
I think I'm going back on
Yeah?
Titan because there's a lot less clutter to deal with Titan because you're seeing people.
Well, exactly.
With...
Wakanda as well has so many bodies on the ground, so many people fighting. You get lost in the spectacle of it. Titan, you get a compact group of people working to stop one dude.
And he a biggie.
And ultimately failing.
Huh.
But it's the struggle when literally he brings a fucking moon down on people. And still, that's not enough to beat these guys.
And Thor and Rockets just kind of come in last moment trying to win, but ends up not winning.
Yeah.
Because they seem like those last minute reinforcements that you needed at that time.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you about some of the weaknesses I have.
Okay.
Captain America's team really didn't get much focus at all.
Mm-hmm.
After Civil War, too, which was really kind of weird.
Like, yes, that is rectified in Endgame.
Indeed.
But Captain America, Black Widow, they really don't do much. There are more bodies on the battle.
Yeah. It's true. Sure, it's all set up. But, like, yeah, for the time being, they didn't actually show a whole lot of them. This was more focusing on Team Tony
I feel like Team
Thor.
Tony. Hey, by the way, this movie sets up a hell of an arc that people kind of glance over. But this is Nebula's arc of really becoming one of the bigger heroes of the MCU.
Hey, that's right.
Yeah.
Because in Team Tony, Nebula is the only other person left alive.
Well, and the thing is, too, we kind of glossed over this when we were talking about Guardians 2. That's exactly it. Like, this is Nebula's time to shine after she got essentially a redemption arc.
Well, funny enough to mention, like, when we get to Endgame, Nebula gets the fourth amount of screen time.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Like, obviously Captain America, and Iron Man, and Thor gets the most, but Nebula is number 4, and that's pretty impressive.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
So, that's one of the weaknesses. A weakness of mine was I wasn't the most invested in the Vision struggle because I thought it was too obvious that Vision was going to die.
You knew he was going to die. Regardless, I could see why that was such a big thing.
Like, I feel like they should have done that sooner rather than at the end of the movie. I don't know.
Like, I get where they were coming from, though. Like, it wasn't so much a... what's it? Like, they must have known people knew that he was going to die. So they wanted to tease at our expectations a little bit. And, like, maybe, just maybe, he can live through this.
And some of the people that they killed off during the snap, I think could have been as interesting if you kept them alive. Like, like Wanda, I felt like you should have kept alive because of the grief aspect.
That's true. I forgot that she was one of the ones that perished.
One of the
Black Panther, Dustin just sucks for me because I was always enjoying whenever he's there.
Haha.
And Wakanda hardly played a part in the next one, but whatever.
Well, Wakanda itself didn't, but the people of it did.
Oh yeah, but they kept the bodyguard alive, but killed off T'Challa and Shuri. Yet the bodyguard only had like 10 minutes in the movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but I think that might have been affected by real world things because I think Chadwick did
Yeah,
did
he
like
had
2 more
characters
movies.
since Civil War, actually. He was in Stage 3 during all of the films he was in.
Fuck.
So, yes, but I don't know, actually.
I was more thinking of he was doing other roles in other movies after Infinity War
That as well, probably.
because I think he did
Yeah.
2 more movies.
But that's crazy to think. The guy had bloody cancer through every appearance.
That's
When he gave
crazy.
one of the best performances, yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody knew till he passed.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's mad to think, like, all of these movies, only, like, well, they're all movies, but, like, and they're all pretty big, but, like, only 3 of them, like, I would be able to say, yeah, this is part of our culture or something. One would be, I'd have to say Endgame over Infinity War, just because of the build-up to Endgame, but Black Panther would have also been one of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, culturally, Black Panther broke a lot of barriers.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to talk about the cultural impact, Black Panther might be at the top of the list on how many barriers it broke for many things.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And while also being a good movie as well.
Yeah.
But that's not the list. We'll say which is our favorites.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Cultural impact, obviously Black Panther's up there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Movies aren't solely about that. And thus, we press on.
So let's talk. So where are we putting Infinity Wars? Because it's going to be definitely high tier.
Yes,
Well,
indeed.
obviously. I'm sure we like it more than the original Avengers, right?
Do we?
I think
Do
so,
we?
anyways.
Yeah, I would also say.
Okay. Let's put it down right for the Avengers.
Let's
I would
do
put
it.
Should we put? Never mind.
What, we gonna do a Goku? We gonna do
Yeah,
a
I think
Goku?
so. Let's do a Goku.
Well, in that case, Thor Ragnarok would have to go down because he was in Goku's spot.
Oh, yeah, there you go, there you go. And while we're at it, maybe we'll put Iron Man 3 down to C. And I don't know, did we really like Iron Man 2 that much?
I didn't. Alright. But talking about lower tiers, we are now at Ant-Man and Wasp.
Oh, the
This
freaking...
really wasn't as good as the first one.
Why
No.
does a cinematic universe have filler episodes?
This is exactly what it is. This is filler up until Endgame.
Yes.
Holy shit. No wonder it's... no wonder I don't like these next few that much.
Wait, it's all filler?
Always has been.
But Ant-Man and Wasp, this movie, now it's cool to add the Wasp, but the second part of this movie was the timing was, you were only thinking about, yeah, but what about Endgame?
Pretty much. Like,
So
the entire time you're thinking, how is this going to tie into Endgame? Like, what do we even see the consequences of such? I mean,
and we do, to be fair.
We only in the post-credits scene, but like, it was kind of supposed to be a standalone movie aside from that, which felt really awkward after Infinity War.
Well, another thing is the main villain conflict with Ghost wasn't very fully resolved.
Mm.
Yeah, I even forgot like what our villain was supposed to be ultimately.
And here's why I like Ghost, and I think if they ever do something like Thunderbolts and stuff, Ghost would be a great fit for that.
We just need a movie that has Taskmaster in it. If this movie had Taskmaster, I don't even think he's related.
No, that's Black Widow.
Yeah. Just have any movie would be better with Taskmaster.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with Ghosts and stuff, this doesn't really resolve itself much, does it?
Not really.
No.
And
filler.
yeah.
Honestly, guys, I don't have much to say about Ant-Man and Wasp.
Neither
Honestly,
do I.
neither do I. It feels like this
Like,
hole in my memories when it comes to it, despite...
Like, it has some good action scenes and stuff, but it just
I
felt
remember.
underwhelming. I think bottom of C.
Yeah.
I'd say bottom of C. Ah! Oh no!
Where do you put it?
There you go.
Alright.
Accidentally
Paul
right-clicked on
Rudd's
something.
Hot Ones episode was
Alright,
better.
Captain Marvel.
Alright.
Uh-oh.
I just want to preface this. I haven't seen this movie, so I'm gonna leave it to you two.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I know Sad's going to go negative, so I'm going to go positive.
Oh.
This movie was extremely underwhelming for me. This is probably... I don't know. I could not relate to this main character whatsoever, and I think that took away from it ultimately. I mean, it had some good points. I'll give you that. Although, I'm also incredibly salty that fucking... Okay, side note. Frickin' side note, okay? Remember Nick Fury? And he's...
He was great in this movie.
Absolutely, he was freaking great in this. But, like, every time, like, I remember a very specific quote that was very mysterious, and he says at one point earlier on, he says, "The last time I trusted someone, I lost my eye."
What,
And-
you didn't trust a cat and lost your eye when a cat scratched you?
Mate, that's
To be
about the
fair.
equivalent. That's about the equivalent of, like... Okay, the only reason I can relate to this is because I tried to pet my neighbor's dog one time, and then it jumped up and bit me in the arm and gave me a goddamn bruise the size of an apple. Like... Mate, if that's really the reason that you don't trust anybody anymore, are you fucking serious? I mean, sure, it took his
Please
eye.
went on. They made Nick Fury from a badass to probably the best bullshitter ever, and I kind of like that.
I don't like that. Honestly, I'm like...
I always liked him. I don't know. I always like when he's a little less over intense, but that's just me.
I disagree heavily. I really liked when he was actually in the thick of it and trying his best to scheme his way through things. And
Oh, he's doing that,
and being a lot more on the serious side more than anything, because that's kind of what we've come to know Nick Fury as. To see that kind of stripped away.
We also have seen in many other things that even within Avengers itself, of him kind of bolstering things along as well.
Well, particularly after S.H.I.E.L.D. went down, like, absolutely.
Even before.
Like...
What do you
well,
mean?
the Agent Coulson death was complete bullshit on his part because he did actually die.
Oh. I didn't actually watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I didn't really know the specifics behind that.
Well, it's very complicated and convoluted, so...
like the next movie we'll get to, but never mind that.
I got a feeling of Resident Time Travel is going to have brain aneurysm and bleed too.
Ooh, but that's later. That's
But,
later. Going back on the
but
topic of Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, on a rewatch, I did hate it as much the second time. The first time, I was bored out of my mind, but that was probably also because I was just so much wanting Endgame.
You and I had very opposite reactions to that then.
But second time watching, I liked Nick Fury. The biggest problem, and we're going to agree on this, is Captain Marvel's character
Yes.
has no development. Like, it's not the fact that it's unrelatable, it's the fact that the character doesn't go from point A to point B at any point.
The only reason she changes at all is because she gets her memories back.
Well,
And-
here's the thing. She's originally on the bad guys team, and then as soon as she found out they're bad people, she's like, yep, I'm a good guy now.
And I'll destroy everything instantly. I do not like her character whatsoever. It doesn't... I agree. She is absolutely bland. And if you can't focus on... If you can't make a movie where your protagonist is the blandest thing about it, there's a problem there.
Me and a bunch of my co-workers have constantly said, you know, the true protagonist of that movie is Nick Fury, because he develops, he actually does things, and he actually...
It would make for a better movie, I'll tell you that much. Like, yes,
Hey.
Nick Fury was probably the best thing about that. I will agree with that.
Well, if you look at it as like an origin story for Nick Fury over an origin story for Captain Marvel, it's actually a better movie. It's how you put your mind to it.
You know what? I'll get into this more when it comes to Endgame, but I don't consider Captain Marvel a character. I consider her a plot device.
I think
can
that's
see
a
women as
little harsh,
objects.
actually, but
Really, Zad?
Shush! I'm taking a controversial enough stand on this as is, damn it.
I think that's a little harsh because, see, she is a character. She just has not had proper development yet.
Yeah, well,
Like, here's
from
the
a
thing.
Marvel movie.
From
Of-
4, let me put it this way. In 4-1, I would put her, Captain Marvel, and the 4-1-4 in the same light because they're both pretty uninteresting and think they are awesome because they have godlike powers.
The difference being, though, that Thor has to fight to gain his powers back. And we see his struggle, as stupid as it is, through to when he is finally we get that he is worthy at the end of it, and we feel for him. Captain Marvel, we don't really see a lot of that. Oh, she gets her memories back, and suddenly she's back to being all powerful.
So sad. Were you there when Son said this? Okay, the scene where it goes through all of her phases in life, where she just stand up and say defiant, proves she have never really developed as a person, let alone as a character.
You know what? I was there for that. Yes.
It's like I wish Son was here because he had a great quote on that.
That is actually a fantastic way to put it.
She is stoic and strong, but she has never changed.
But she hasn't been anything but stoic and strong. And that makes for bad character.
This is like 1000%. Well, it's mostly unrelated, but these are having the same argument people had when Kale and Caulifla were introduced to Dragon Ball. Okay, I'm done.
Who introduced the Dragon Ball?
Kale and Caulifla, 2 female Saiyans from Universe 6.
Oh,
who
super
got
stuff.
Saiyan.
I
Yeah.
still need to catch up with Super.
Oh, I like them.
Do you like Captain Marvel?
No. Hey, not as I don't hate her as much as Sad does. I don't particularly dislike her, but I don't have a huge love for her.
That's fair. Zad, you'll hate Kale and Caulifla.
Oh boy! Thanks, Zenadean.
You're welcome.
So, what are your thoughts, speaking of, now that we've said our piece on this?
He
I
hasn't
already
seen the
said I haven't
movie.
seen
Oh, right. So, based
I
on...
think we'll put it. I think above Iron Man 2, actually.
You think above Iron Man 2?
Definitely
was
above
actually-
Ant-Man and Wasp.
Surely above. Nah,
I was actually thinking below Ant-Man and Wasp myself, but that's just
I
me.
think.
So,
Well, I know
Xanadine,
you
based
have a
on our
huge-
arguments, where do you think? Because you were the deciding factor in where we put Josuke. Or where we put Jotaro versus Joseph last time. So, like, what do you think,
Well-
despite the fact that you haven't seen it?
All right,
from what
so
you've
based
heard.
purely off of your arguments.
Yeah,
I
this is
can-
convince the bartender time.
All right, welcome to the. Anyways, how I feel about it is just because through previous experiences of different arguments and from stuff I know more of, I'm gonna side a bit more with Jag, just because I know the whole thing of, oh, you don't see a person's development straight away, therefore it's unearned. I feel like isn't really it's not a very just argument in my opinion. It is valid, but it's not perfectly like I feel like it's okay for a character to have a certain set power or have a certain personality without earning it if this is their introduction or if you need to understand this character. I would say based off that I would put it above Ant-Man and Wasp because the reason we put Ant-Man and Wasp so low is because it was pure filler and boring. This actually sparked discussion, so.
Okay, I can
Okay.
see where you're going with that, actually.
And I think that is a big difference. We actually had stuff to talk about with Captain Marvel.
Whereas we kind of glossed over Ant-Man and Wasp. It was like, what happened again?
Like
Yeah.
everybody did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give it
So
that.
it's
I'll give it that. So, whereabouts
Above
here?
Ant-Man and Wasp.
Just above Ant-Man and Wasp. Don't get too
Ah.
crazy now.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. We're ending it here because no Endgame spoilers. I'm sorry. No.
Well, that's it.
Ignore that red man next to him. Sorry, it didn't happen.
Yeah, no, didn't happen yet.
We're still in 2019.
2020 was all a
No.
dream, boys.
It feels like it.
What? I thought it was 2026 by now.
No.
Oh, I thought it was like 2120 at this point. I've been.
Damn,
I woke up in a
right.
bed of water 100 years later. I don't know what.
Damn, that seems like a nasty fall. Wait, pandemic. Right.
Thank you. What are you talking about?
Come on and hop on the Sega Genesis. It's 1990.
Yeah. Oh, I love that meme so much. I actually
Dot,
did have a
dot,
dream
dot,
where the
dot,
last
dot.
like couple years were all a dream, and I'm like,
you had a dream.
yeah, I know, it was weird. Where I had a dream where I woke up and like 2 years just didn't happen. So like,
Okay.
Don't we rest?
Yeah.
Don't we fucking rest?
I'm just going to say, I'm going to activate your trap card and remind you that you had, you thought of something at, I believe, was it Age of
Yes, you
Ultron?
wanted to bring something on Endgame
Ah!
way back towards the beginning.
okay,
Yeah, way back at Age of Ultron, you were like, I have
okay.
this
I was gonna
idea or
actually bring this up halfway through because that's about where this was. But
But
we're
Just
gonna
for a
talk
second,
about.
guys, just for a second.
Okay.
So
you went to watch
somebody just got
Endgame
back
real
home,
quick.
and I had to say hello.
Yeah.
Oh. So now that you've watched Endgame and the hyperbolic time chamber, what did you think?
Yes.
Well, Endgame.
He just watched
When
it in the
was your
quantum
rant
realm.
set?
He shrunk himself
Alright,
down.
Dad. Time for your rant because you had something.
It's not so much a
saved up.
rant as it is a realization. All right. And
Big brain
I
moment,
feel
let's
weird
go.
bringing this up now, but if you insist, I'll do it. So like remember towards the end of Endgame. All right, Wanda was there, and she's like, and she confronts Thanos, and you know that they made a huge meme out of this where she's like, "You took everything from me," and Thanos is like, "I don't know who you are," but Thanos didn't actually take everything away from her.
Just most things.
Her brother was taken away from her by Ultron, if anything. You're just gonna forget about that?
I think what she was saying was everything she had left.
I get that. I just thought I'd bring that up as an interesting observation. It's like, mate, you just forget about your brother because of some good robot dick?
What?
Fuck? The
Stop
fuck?
fucking running on me.
Why the fuck did I say that? It's essentially why, but it's not
Guys,
You
don't
don't
run
inaccurate,
on me.
More
but
than just that, right?
I know.
Just checking.
I will say upfront, YouTube, this is not for kids. Okay.
Copa, please don't take us down. We've said that. Don't kill us. For serious,
Hey,
Copa
you know
Mafia,
that's why
don't
you're
kill
not
us.
monetized.
Yet.
Yeah.
Anyways.
What? Okay.
I just thought
So anyway.
that was an observation. Now back to the actual thing.
Now back to your regularly. Okay.
So
back to
Your
before we get to
regularly
Sad's
scheduled
rant, because
programming.
I know what Sad's rant is going to be.
Oh.
Do you?
Double round.
Time travel?
Oh well. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You do? Do I? I do. You do. Oh god. Okay.
Yeah, we have some time before we get to the time travel stuff.
Take
Oh,
your
yes.
time.
Well, first,
Like,
I wanna start out by saying that, man, we finally got a good redemption arc from Bug Eaton from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. After turning everybody into flesh cubes, he finally decided to take a stand and release Ant-Man from his prison.
Hey. I
you
didn't
know what?
that
This is the
had a
best
name.
timeline. Count it now.
There you go.
But the movie actually starts off pretty good, where we see Tony Stark and Nebula just going, just kind of blowing out the best they can.
Mhm.
Essentially, thinking they're essentially gonna die in space. So they're like, well,
And
may as well make the most of this.
This is where we start to see Nebula's more human side to her character.
Indeed.
Well, we don't know how much time, but clearly she's developed a friendship with Tony throughout this, to playing bloody paper football and stuff.
Nothing like being stuck in a ship on the brink of death with nothing but one other person to have a perfect bro out moment.
Nothing better.
Hells yeah.
But eventually they get rescued by Captain Marvel.
Yep.
And then they go to find Thanos, where Nebula comes in because Nebula knows where Thanos' dream vacation is.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And yeah, they visit Thanos in his retirement. And
And they retired him more.
indeed. But it was such a hollow victory at that point. I used the
Well,
stones.
because he got rid of all
Yeah.
the Infinity Stones.
I used the stones to destroy the stones. And so
What?
in Thanos is in a pathetic state now. He has nothing. Like, he gets ambushed by all these guys, and they're looking to take him down, but what they're taking down is essentially just a retired old man at this point. There's no point to anything that they do. This is just for revenge, for the sake of revenge now.
And how hollow was that
Gotta be.
feeling?
Especially Thor, when Thor delivers the final blow, when he's giving a heartfelt speech to Nebula, and he said, and this is what I was talking about before, we see a little more of Thanos' humanity. He says, perhaps I was too harsh on you.
A little late now, Dick.
Still,
little.
we see that. We see in his last moments, he's like, shit, I probably treated you really bad. And then it's cut short by Thor just immediately decapitating the dude. And they're like, what the fuck did you do, Thor? And Thor, in pretty much despair, just saying, I went for the head.
And then we get our favorite type of thing that we love in every anime, the 5 years later time skip.
Oh, yes, the time skip where everybody is suddenly so much stronger than they were 5 years ago. Only this is not the case here.
Not really.
This is not the case whatsoever. Because
in
those 5 years, there's nothing but despair on all of the characters.
I don't know. Maybe Thor is pretty dope at Fortnite.
Thor is good at threatening them trolls. Those damn dirty trolls that dare to threaten him and his buddies Korg and
the bug one.
That other dude that I forget the name of. Yeah, that.
Fortnite exists in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
The question is, if Fortnite exists in the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
yes,
do they have the Thanos thing?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, wait a minute, hold on. Whoa, this is 5 years after all of that, so it's taking place in the future, technically.
Imagine how disrespected you'd have to be after fighting this big war just to see the person that you killed
appear in fucking oh shit!
Like I laugh at the Fortnite camera, but then I had to think, do they have the Thanos?
This is deep lore, guys. This is the real reason that everybody's in despair.
That's why I'm.
Developers be like, he may have killed half of the world, but
he danced for me. Look at him. He do the clap and the shuffle.
The kids were so false of that.
Hi. That's canon in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Now we just need a gift for Thanos falsing. That's a gift.
No. I mean, we already somebody did a Thanos singing Baka Mitai. So using the deep fakes.
I'm the only one who has played Yakuza of this group.
Yeah.
I've played Yakuza 5.
Okay. That's at least one of them more than sad.
Yup.
Sad. They have a new game to stream. Anyways.
Anyways. Hey. There's a lot of despair, but the most unlikely saver to pretty much get people to stop sitting on their asses forever is actually Ant-Man.
One of the most averagest of Joes, as we brought up, suddenly is the one to snap all of these big, brilliant superheroes back into business, which is actually a really cool thing.
Because Paul Rudd would be the kind of guy to do that in anyways.
It's Paul Rudd, man! Man, seeing his reaction, despite, like, being stuck in what appeared to be 5 hours, was actually, for him, was 5 years for the rest of the world. And seeing the results of that, and seeing him react to it, and especially seeing his daughter all grown up. Oh!
Well, actually, he pretty much goes up to the heroes and goes, so what are we doing? And they're like, we're not doing anything. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Uh-huh! Exactly! And he's the one that actually pretty much comes up with the idea that time travel could work.
I will say, some of the comedy bits in this movie were really good.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings up Thor being the ultimate dad. I mean, not Thor, I mean Hulk.
Yes.
Yeah, no, well, I was gonna ask.
Frickin' Banner Hulk! Have we ever seen an iteration of Hulk like this before?
Peter David. Yes. Peter David in the comics had a time where Bruce Banner was able to put his brain in the Hulk and put the Hulk's brain in the
I
Bruce Banner body.
I actually have that comic cover on my wall.
Huh.
And
So
like,
yes, it has happened in the comics actually.
Okay, cool.
yeah,
It was a really cool thing to see.
It did last forever, but it was a very cool time for the Hulk.
That's fascinating. Cause
He
seeing
was
him,
not as he's not as strong as normal Hulk because he has his
restraint.
because of his
restraint.
personality, yeah.
But it was a cool thing to see, and it was cool to see in this movie as well. Like a lot of people says that's not how the Hulk works, and I'm like, it kind of does.
It's canon.
Why are you questioning it? You
Yeah.
should be crying.
Yeah. Oh,
People
gosh.
question everything,
Yes, indeed. It was.
and
really
the
cool.
Hulk and Thor were both the funny bones in this movie.
Mm.
Thor, in a kind of tragic sense, the Hulk for just being a dad. Like he's
Well,
not a dad, but he acts like a
Speaking
dad.
of dads, Tony, man, Tony.
And what did I
being just
say to
homie
you
Tom-
as soon as we found out he had a daughter?
Wait, what did you say?
Death Flakes Rising.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, it was it was really cool to see Tony's side of things where like yeah, he despite the fact that like they lost and stuff, like Tony still had a daughter and his method of coping was raising a family. Something that he
Well,
didn't see himself doing at the beginning of like way back in the beginning of his journey back in Iron Man.
and then we kind of see the opposite journey for Hawkeye, who lost his family and is just killing criminals.
And just decided
because-
to go nuts and kill everything. Yeah. It was really interesting seeing the dynamic and seeing what happened with Tony and Hawkeye as like these complete polar opposites in this movie. And yet at the same time, they were both of them actually really didn't want to go back and help out anymore.
for different reasons.
For different reasons. Which is
Tony did not want to risk losing everything he gained.
exactly. He found happiness and he wanted to keep it no matter what. And so he was dead
And-
set against helping.
And Hawkeye,
He already
one of my
lost
favorite
everything.
lines ever. Don't
Don't
give
give
me
me hope. Oh. Like the way the different people react to everything, seeing people give in to despair, seeing people try to move on, and seeing all of that come together again as like a little bit of a clash.
So, because I know you have feelings, I guess I'll go first on the time travel before we unleash the beast.
Okay.
Do, 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 do.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh, why?
But for me, the type of travel that they did is very convoluted. Makes no sense. But I don't care. It was just fun to see all these little moments reenacted. It was funny seeing Peter Quill dancing to music that nobody else is hearing.
I 1000% agree with.
But you know
Jack.
we were all hearing it anyways. Don't lie to yourselves.
Oh yeah. But it was just cool to see things in these different perceptions. Was it a little ludicrous? Yes. Does it open up portals? Probably. But
I'll get to
I don't
that.
care. I had a good time. And it was cool seeing, like, after the first Avengers, the awkward them, after them pointing all the weapons to Loki, into the awkward, like, to next thing, guys. As if that was on purposely edited and all that stuff.
Mm,
And we see a lot of cool stuff, like Captain America versus Captain America.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
And it also opens up Loki's escape, which will be that Disney Plus series, and see what happens to that. So it gives a lot of possibilities and stuff. Is it convoluted? Is it dumb? Yes. I don't care.
I
Sad.
also oh,
Time for you
No.
to just yell at me.
before you do though, I just want to
God
say
damn it.
this with one last wholesome statement, and before you absolutely destroy all of our hopes, dreams, and loves, um, it has been at this point 12, 11 years of mostly solid movies, like
Yep.
really good movies, like thousands of hours of writing and acting and editing and
But you only have
thousands of,
two bad eggs. You did pretty good.
like, this is a series loved by so many people. I feel like they deserve to have that little victory lap.
Okay.
That's just me.
All right, Sad.
Everybody finished? Everybody good? No more.
I just
Nobody
wanna
else is
say-
gonna.
I want to say, if I do die, please tell my wife and kids. I don't know who they are.
No,
That's
well,
what we need time travel
that's in the
for.
yeah, exactly. That's why you need to. That's why you need this time travel. You just need to sit in the quantum realm for 5 hours, which
Sweet.
somehow automatically relates to. Well, hey, we could go back into the past, and sure, the way that they did it, though, was convenient for Tony, anyways. But goddamn, did they open up a whole other can of worms for like where timelines are gonna be now, because they went to so many different timelines. They screwed a lot of things up, mind you. And they
Yeah,
We are now in
Loki
the Legend of
escaped.
Zelda.
yeah, well, exactly. The big thing being, so we saw what happened with Loki with Loki's redemption arc and whatnot. And with Loki escaping the way that they did, with the Tesseract in hand, like suddenly we don't see that. So all of that development is moot in a different universe. But as well, we have several different timelines open up as a result. And I wonder if I can find like an exact amount of timelines that were actually created because of this.
Oh God.
I'll look it up.
I'm doing the same here.
Well, you know they're doing a What If series also on Disney Plus.
Oh yes, I'm sure they'll probably do a lot of that. Okay, yeah.
7.
Oh gravy, this is complicated.
Oh God.
Literally, it's the third search result for how many timelines. How many timelines did Endgame create? 7.
Yeah, so there was what's it? Yeah, so never mind the fact that Thanos came through this warp hole as his own warp hole into the future, but we'll get to that. Good gravy, turning all of Thanos's hard-earned stuff into, well, fuck it. But
But does he get the Thanos copter in this timeline?
hoo-hoo.
This time I create a Thanos cop.
God damn it. So okay, they go to several different points, right? So they have the New York fracture, the battle at
Yep.
New York, where hang on, I gotta enlarge this. Cause there's like I wanna read all of this. So Banner gets the time stone, Cap gets the Mind Stone, and Tony and Scott fail. So as a result of that, what's it? The Tesseract gets away. Loki is freed. Hydra will also think that Captain America is working for them now, by the way.
Nice.
So there's going to be all of that that's left unexplored. Then there is the Asgard fracture, where Thor and Rocket arrive in Asgard and retrieve the ether from Jane Foster. Which at that point, Thor has had a heartfelt conversation with his mother before she died, and Jane got stabbed by something.
Damn.
But Jane got, for all Jane knows, she got stabbed by a raccoon.
Remember, all these stuff were put back to normal because Captain America did stuff.
Eventually, but was it the same thing? If we were to theorize that these splits were created, and we return them to their normal, and Captain returns them to their normal worlds and whatnot, did any of that? Would he have returned to those same points in time? Because if those things were changed, and he goes back to his own universe, only to go back to the pasts in that universe, it wouldn't be the same. It would be the past. It would still be the past that from the present, meaning that the stuff that they did wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, but the initial change.
It's also implied that when Steve went back to return all of the stones, as well as for his hammer, he would have had to also fix all of the misplacements.
Bruce did say that. For convenience's sake,
giving
it
back
works.
the Soul Stone to Red Skull and getting Loki back arrested with the Tesseract.
Mm-hmm.
He would have had to do all of that.
Indeed. Oh, we also... let's see here. What's it?
Remember, time's not the same thing, because if you're going by some of the logic you're going with, Nebula will turn to dust.
Why?
Because Nebula killed young Nebula.
Well, yeah, but that also creates a fracture in itself, and it doesn't. But like, what I'm saying is that if he went back to the exact points, like, that creates a different timeline again, rather than just you kill your past self, you get canceled. If that makes sense, because they're all from different timelines. The way they explain it, they create branches. Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily mean, but what I'm saying is that trying to go back to fix those points, you've created different universes that suddenly go off on their own. Jumping into those universes is probably a little more difficult than just simply going back to the past. If that makes sense from what I'm saying.
I feel like the way they'd have to work around that would be, say everyone agrees on a certain main timeline, and for every other altercation that they have to do, they have to return to that main timeline before they go back and make adjustments from there. So it's all branching off of the one timeline rather than a branch off a branch off a branch.
Can I say, before we continue, time is confusing.
Time is confusing!
Even
and they
without
just
time
made it
travel,
more confusing as to where everything will fit, in which timeline these all fit, when it comes to future Marvel movies. That's kind of the point I'm going across. Anyways, there's also the space fracture, the camp fracture, and the Peggy fracture, where Captain America goes back and spends his days with Peggy, which is cute.
but raw.
But we get
a lot of fans did not like that one.
I did.
I actually did.
I liked it.
Old man Steve.
Yeah, and honestly, it's a nice ending to it.
It's a nice cap off to the story.
It's a nice cap off, Abe, Jag.
Back off!
You did that yourself, mate.
Caps off to you.
Fuck.
Oh, yes.
But there's a lot of things to talk about here. So, each heist goes through different time and points.
Yeah, essentially, all I wanted to get at with this main thing is that they fucked up a lot of timelines, and therefore they're creating a lot of future discourse for where things fit and which timeline goes where for next Marvel movies. That's pretty much all I'm getting at here.
Mm.
And before we finish talking about the timeline stuff, we might as well talk about Black Widow's final sacrifice.
Oh!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit! That was a heart-wrenching scene, where like you think, what's it? Hawkeye and Black Widow at this point, they're both like, they're ready to die for this, but they don't want the other person to die. So they essentially gets to fight over who gets to commit suicide. And that's so weird to think of.
It is.
It's
Oh, me and the homies do it all the time. I just lose.
Oh,
Sorry.
my condolences for all those you've lost then.
I was the one who really lost.
That's exactly what a murderer would say.
But
I'm a murderer in this bag.
this is Black Widow's last movie alive.
Yeah. Despite the fact that there's plans for a Black Widow movie, which is why everybody
Well-
thought that she would survive.
I'm
that's what
excited about the Black
entire
Widow
thing
movie.
was. I think
I
they
have
did.
feelings, but that's for a different thing.
I think that was a very good bait and switch by Marvel themselves. Just announce
Yeah.
the movie, kill
Using
off.
their own marketing to confuse the fans.
Yeah, it's like what people do.
But
with
was it worth
wrestling.
it?
Yeah. People
But
actually
what did
want
it
to watch
cost?
the good one.
Everything.
And just Black Widow, I guess, and Tony. But...
Yeah.
So after that, we get to the big fight, and the fight is kind of in two halves.
This is where
The
things
fight
start to
to-
get a little cluttered.
Yeah, but the first half is
Oh,
a
yes.
little more simple.
So, yeah, and then Thanos comes back. Oh, right. But before that, fucking Banner Hulk decides to snap everybody back into existence.
And
he
permanently
did.
cripples himself.
Is it permanently? I thought he just kind of...
Well,
It's
That's usually-
implied it's permanent.
That's usually what being crippled does to you.
being in a sling kind of implies that it's healing rather than
Oh, a sling? Yeah.
that's kind of
don't
where he was
know.
at the end. But anyways, he injures himself regardless by
He's an
bringing
infamous
everybody
method.
back. But then of course Thanos arrives through this warp hole in time because he discovered that Nebula is from a
Time travel
different...
because never change the bloody system.
Mm.
I mean,
So when
she
when
had...
she time traveled back in time, she essentially got into the same system that old Nebula was in.
and therefore got discovered immediately. And of course, at this point, suddenly Thanos doesn't get any of that humanity shown, this Thanos anyways, and he just becomes a freaking demon, and he's like, well, you know what? You guys kind of brought back everybody. I was trying to be fair, so you know what? Fuck
you.
it. Fuck you. I'm going to destroy everything and start
And
from
then
scratch.
rebuild it. And then rebuild it with only half people gone, so people don't even remember.
Well, he doesn't even...
And here's the thing, young Thanos. How does that make sense?
It does
Well,
not.
the way he says it is like, I'm gonna reduce the universe to its last atom and start over and make sure that this universe is
Repeat.
grateful. I'm going to suddenly take over the world, take over the universe, of course. And
And then there will be no universe.
and then yeah, and suddenly all of his humanity kind of
Interest.
goes. Yeah, that character that Thanos developed, and when he eventually became an old man, suddenly none of that existed. He never had to struggle with like what he cares about the most, that being his daughter. He never really gets to see how his mistreatment of Nebula affected her. He doesn't really get to be fair. He's just kind of, at this point, a villain. And I really think that's a detriment to Thanos' character, because we see Thanos as this. He's trying to be fair. He tries so hard to be fair and struggle with what he has to do, and he has a reason for doing it. This one, it's just, he goes against everything that he even was built up to, because of what he saw in the time travel. And he just decides, fuck it, let's just destroy everything. Fuck this world. Fuck this universe.
I feel like that
Now,
it is.
that's... I can agree that's dumb, but you know what? I don't care, because this is the moment that Captain America gets Thor's hammers and becomes awesome.
Now, what's interesting about that is that, I believe in Age of Ultron, was it?
It was hinted at where he moved it like an inch. And there's two theories behind this.
Oh.
Theory one, he was almost worthy, but was not quite there yet. Or theory two, the theory I kind of like, he was always worthy, realized he could lift a hammer, but did not to just humor Thor.
Huh. That's interesting. I kind of like the first one better, because it's like, I like for like Captain America, like somehow going on this journey to be worthy of something.
Yeah, but I kind of like the idea that Captain America was always worthy, and he's just been a blow to Thor, so he wasn't holding his ego.
I mean, and then Vision kind of shattered his ego on that. I was just like, here you go, bro. Here's your hammer back.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Wait a minute.
All right.
But yeah, those are the two main theories on that.
I would like to say, in regards to the whole Thanos thing, I feel like it being young Thanos and seeing how ruthless he is versus how he is in Infinity War kind of just makes you appreciate, like, not even his character development, but like the things that he's learned, and you get to see his struggles, and this is everything, like obviously in the movie everything has an effect on him, but when you see it, when it's all taken away, you don't realize how much of an effect and of a difference it does, if you get me.
So your argument, and it's actually a good argument, is saying that without his development, he is actually kind of more scary because he doesn't have that time to humanize himself.
Yeah. And it makes you appreciate it more in Infinity War.
That's a good argument, man.
That's pretty deep, actually.
That's deeper than I expected this to go.
Yeah. Ultimately, I mean, I remember at the end of Infinity War being like, damn, Thanos was a really well thought out character. And like, we got to see a lot of his struggles and stuff. And I think I would still appreciate his development regardless. Because I really did see that.
Yes, but I think Sen Ray put down a good thing of we're seeing Thanos without the development and how scary that is.
It makes you... Because, like, I feel like people would take for granted, like, people understand, oh yeah, he's great character development, but you kind of take for granted how much of an impact of a difference it does.
I mean, that's a fascinating take on it.
A really good take, actually, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm still a little cheesed at it myself, and I'll probably continue to be, but like, damn, dude, just hells yeah.
Zed has been quiet to unleash his ultimate power.
We're in the endgame now, boys.
Yeah.
Hey, here's waiting for this match to be like, but actually...
He's biding his time all this time.
Yeah.
He set up his trap card.
Yeah.
So, actually, I feel like we've been talking about Endgame long enough that it might be its own separate. Because I was gonna be like, oh, I'll separate them into the phases, but I'm like, we've
Oh
been talking about
God.
Endgame for a long time. I might do like its
Well,
own
we were
section and
kind
just
of
throw
talking
this as the
about.
post.
Well, it wasn't just that. Probably, like, we started this from Infinity War, and we've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes now.
Oh, okay, then yeah, never mind. Was it? Oh, we'll have Endgame and then
I don't think
Spider-Man
it
as the
warrants its
post-credit
own.
scene.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I don't think Homecoming's going to take this long.
Far from
That's
home.
why it's the post-credits.
Not Homecoming.
But okay, I'm gonna need you all to strap in. Everyone at
but-
home who's watching right now, we're about to make the ultimate decision of where we should put
We didn't
Avengers
even get to
Endgame.
the extremely hard to follow final battle though.
Unbuckle your belts. Try and relax. We have more to talk about.
So the first half was pretty good. We see Deborah kill herself, etc. With
Yeah,
some
pretty
extra
good.
development.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to the second half. Man, this is a bit of a cluster.
This is a huge clusterfuck.
And hey, even Howard the Duck was there.
Howard the Duck, yes. The best Avenger.
Like, I get it. They wanted this to be the most climatic battle with everyone.
Well, Howard
This was the Smash Ultimate
overkill.
of Marvel.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Like, Civil War was Brawl.
Yeah, with
Infinity
Spider-Man
War
being
was
Sonic the
like
Hedgehog.
3DS and Wii U versions. This was supposed to be Ultimate. But
Oh my god! Hold on. If Brawl is Civil War, that would mean Black Panther is Solid Snake and Spider-Man is Sonic.
But yeah, for those who did not even
it's true.
who did not even notice Howard the Duck, here's him sneaking in.
Hole?
Wait.
Hang on.
He's probably sent into Discord. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
definitely sent
there it
into
is. Yep.
Discord.
With a
Look at
gun
him. Look at his
and his
dude.
little suit.
Like, a
Look
lot
at
of
the top
people
of
did
his
not
head.
see it, but it was there.
Yeah. Oh
You
shit.
do be balling though.
Yeah.
And we see everything. We see Pepper Potts become rescue. Like, we see so many things at once, it's just almost impossible to process.
And yeah, you kind of lose the forest for the trees at that point because there's so much going on that you're like,
But
wait,
you know the funny thing?
what's that?
Captain America, for the first time in all the movies, says the classic line, Avengers Assemble.
Was that the first
Cue
time?
credits.
Yes.
Does
They
he?
did-
Oh, really?
They did not say it in any of the other Avengers movies.
I could have sworn he said it in the first one.
I thought
since the fact that-
I thought it was said at around the like Age of Ultron. I want to.
But considering you
At
brought up,
the formation of the new Avengers, as it were, whenever that was.
but considering the fact that you specifically brought this fact up, I assume you fact checked it, and I have no choice but to believe you.
Snopes. Oh, can we get a fact check on this? There you go.
No. we are
Jag
in a
is
bar.
the
Do you think
Snopes
we
of
do
this
research?
one. Then there you go.
But this final fight, well, great and cool, was very, very hard to follow.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would agree.
Like, almost too much was happening. Between chasing the cartridge and everybody running around like crazy, everybody getting a bit of moments in.
But I feel like that fully encapsulates the absolute chaos that probably everyone at that time is feeling.
Well, and this is where I think the scale got too big for even Marvel to encapsulate. And because, like, coming together, Avengers, people said that was going to be too daunting, but they did it. Then next up, they said Infinity War was going to be too daunting, and that was kind of pushing it, but like they still managed to do it. This is where I think Endgame, where I think it just exploded, and it's just chaos everywhere. And
well, yeah, and it was hard for them as well because they could bring in Captain Marvel till near the end of the fight because there's already too many people there.
Mm-hmm. And, well, she definitely served as a Deus Ex Machina there.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
I have to bring this up, okay? I mentioned that she was more a plot device than character for, more so in Endgame, because the way I wanted to bring this up sooner, but I thought that this was a good point. So this is, like, you go and you... So how are they supposed to get Tony and Nebula out of space? I don't know. Well, let's use Captain Marvel. And she just kind of does it, and then she flies off. And then how do we get Thanos to space? Thanos sends a spaceship that's sending lasers down on everybody, and nobody can touch it. How the hell do we get it? Captain Marvel destroys it instantly. Oh, okay, that's the thing. And then she just kind of doesn't do much else.
Isn't that kind of her role in, like, even the comics and stuff?
I don't actually know.
I think.
She's like a sort of Superman-like character of that universe.
She kind of is at this point.
Considering the fact that DC and Marvel, despite the fact that they're always like, oh, I'm better, they keep taking ideas off of each other.
Case in point, Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I think Thunderbolts came after Suicide Squad.
Oh,
yeah, Suicide
but Suicide Squad was
happened in the
Guardians.
80s, and Thunderbolts happened in the 90s.
And then the movie was ripped off from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they tried to do their own cinematic universe.
Oh
Yep.
boy. And
You know,
it was so
I'm just waiting
lackluster.
for the Injustice version of Marvel. 'Cause that'll
Oh,
be-
yeah, there you go. So, and then of course, we can't leave Endgame on any other note than Tony's funeral.
Tony dies?
Oh yeah, by the way, spoilers for this movie, just in case you didn't know.
So, yeah,
I don't know how somebody can avoid those spoilers.
honestly. It was, I mean, seeing
was in
Tony
the-
be the one to snap Thanos out of existence, and Thanos being like,
Well,
I am an inevitable.
kinda. Because he didn't really
Iron
kill
Man.
this group, he just kind of, we put them where they belonged.
Wait, you think?
That's one of the theories.
hell? You're going straight
I've
to
never
where you
heard that one
belong.
before.
No.
But anyways, yes, Tony being the one to finish anything makes sense.
Yes, absolutely.
Because he started everything.
And it would do his character it wouldn't do his character justice to have it any other way. And that was a glorious end to his legacy. He did so much for the
time for the
Avengers up to this point.
And he
Time for the
ruined
question
it.
of the room. Who cried at Tony's death?
I did.
Raise his hand.
Raise hand.
See, here's the thing, though.
Now, the reason I ask, and the reason this is important, is these movies made you feel so much for this character. That has to be important.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But no, I don't feel
Absolutely.
anything towards Iron Man.
Oh.
Just because of the existence of Adventures of Dr. Dolittle.
Oh, God.
Wait, what?
I did not see that movie. I heard
This
it was
was
awful.
this was his very first movie outside of Marvel, and it was it was a remake of Doctor Dolittle, except he was on a pirate ship. But it was like,
Oh
imagine all the animals are just
yeah.
like straight out of the Lion King remake, but all the boring ones, which is all of them except the lions.
Well, just think of it this way: that Tony Stark got isekai'd
And that makes me more
and
sad.
reincarnated as a baby, so he doesn't. He has to relearn
Imagine,
everything.
imagine like you live a world where you're a billionaire or whatever. You get hit by a bus and you get isekai'd on a pirate ship with talking animals. I'd rather go back to the normal world.
I mean,
So,
did you see
guys,
the dude's house?
we have talked
It's
a
pretty-
shit ton. Unless somebody has something to add, where are we putting this?
I'm thinking solid C, maybe B tier. Uh,
A, no question.
Top of A.
A?
I don't know
I
if
say
I'd go.
top of A.
I don't know if I'd go top of A. I'd say like.
So, would you?
I would say
bottom of
this
S.
needs to go solidly next to Iron Man, as like a kind of
Yes, I can
bookend.
see that. What do you say, Stan?
I say top. I say bottom of S. I think it's
almost
on that
can't
level.
do that
Yeah, I don't think I would either.
simply because of as great as the movie is, it does have very, very flaws.
That's fair. I can understand where you're coming from.
So, I say right in front of Iron Man is probably the best place we can put it.
As a
Because
kind
I'm
of
not quite
bookend.
Because
beginning
I'm
of the
not quite comfortable
journey
putting it in front
and
of
the
Winter
end.
Soldier.
Yeah.
Because Winter Soldier almost is an S, but it just won't get there.
I look. I really don't want to do this, but I feel like we have to. I think we actually will have to Goku Avengers.
Oh
I was thinking that as well.
How do you
gosh.
feel about it, Zad? Because this isn't a majority vote. This is an all 3 out of 3. You need the keys unlocked to activate the bomb.
Well, I mean,
Let's give the mouse.
you
so.
guys, yeah, there's that. So you know what? Let's Goku it.
To make space for Spider-Man Far From Home.
I could almost guarantee it's not going to get that steal from Sad.
No.
All right, I'm gonna make my statements right now. I love this
Yeah,
movie.
because you're
for
the one who loves this one.
Yes, I. I'm gonna be the beacon of positivity. I'm making my comeback at the very final part of the episode.
Are you that character that appears for the final episode and wins everything?
Yes, I'm Escanor.
Oh.
I really like this movie. It's not a good superhero movie. It is a good Marvel movie. This is the most coming of age story you can think of. You have to cope with betrayal. You've got to like the one thing I don't like about it is that like Spider-Man was this is like at the very end of the movie or whatever, but like Spider-Man was like the only character in this entire universe who actually cared about a secret identity, and it's gone in the second movie or the third movie. Well, no,
And
he's
I
in a
love
few.
that twist ending, by the way. I really do.
Yeah, yeah, that was so good. Um, I find the character of Mysterio like when I first watched this movie, I genuinely felt for her because like I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Like, so this is what they're doing with him. So
And then
like
it turns
this
out
is
he's
really
a complete sociopath.
yeah, and the like I understand of him having I was thinking he'd have ulterior motives, but I didn't think those monsters were actually fake. Like I thought that was so like I thought that was actually really cool, and I was like, I guess that would make more sense. I'm just so used to like all the other Marvel movies where this shit probably would happen, so it's like, because that's an Avengers level threat. Um, and it's like you have you get your superhero side from Mysterio, you get your superhero and your villain through him, and you get your normal, likable, relatable protagonist in Peter Parker and his relationship with MJ and how he's handling school and how he has to like learn with the glasses for example, but he keeps like messing up with them and stuff, and he's trying to get used to his new abilities, and he's just trying to cope with life without
Really
Tony.
still give glasses with all these powers to a fucking teenager?
Yeah,
Yes, he
I
did.
mean, and he made the decision. Is like, I don't think I should have these. I'll give them to Mysterio because he clearly seems like a good guy, and like all of these things kind of lead up to like this big clash of ideals, I guess. And it's just one of those, like, I really enjoyed it. There wasn't a point in this movie where I was either bored because I was either interested in what the characters had to say or do, or the actual stuff that was on screen. I feel like it's also like probably the best movie that could have come out after Endgame, because if you tried to do another serious superhero type movie, it just would fall flat.
Okay.
Okay, and sad?
Well,
Fuck you.
yeah, I mean, after the come down that was Endgame, I was kind of feeling the burnout from this, so maybe that contributed to my thought process on that. But like
Mm-hmm.
suddenly going to Peter doing his like going back to regular school life and stuff. And just doing stuff, it's like, okay. So everything just kind of goes back to as normal as it can be when your aunt knows your secret.
I'd like to say that is very similar to what happened this year. And I think that's kind of crazy.
Huh?
Everyone's kind of returning to normal after the snap.
Oh, shit.
And we had a different kind of snap.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Uh-huh.
And we're still recovering from the effects of it now.
Oh, good gravy.
Although
It was
there
interesting
one
to
joke.
see that go down.
Mm.
And certainly I really liked what Mysterio mentioned was suddenly like an alternate Earth, as it were.
Mm.
And I was actually, this is where kind of my salt levels reached Jag's salt levels in Iron Man 3. Because I was really looking to see, like, okay, where can they go from here?
Open up the multiverse.
Open up the multiverse. I was really looking forward to that. And suddenly it turns out that this dude is a fraud. And, like,
So,
sure, I
I'm
expected him to be
thinking down-
evil. I didn't expect him to be a fake.
Can I give argument? Is Spider-Man really the character we want to open up the multiverse, or do we want somebody like Doctor Strange, or somebody who would probably have more abilities to fully explore the multiverses?
Like,
Well,
I'm just
here's the
saying, it's all
thing,
fun
though.
and games until you accidentally open up the fucking zombie universe.
But here's the thing. This is, as Zenadean said, this is a story about Peter coming to terms with the responsibility that's been forced on him, not just as Spider-Man, but essentially as Tony's successor. And I think being Tony's successor in this case, which hasn't really happened in any other Spider-Man iteration to my knowledge, I think I would argue that would be a very interesting way to open up the multiverse. I'll make that argument.
And also, more people would be more willing to go and watch a Spider-Man movie than like, as sad as it is, they'd be more willing to see a Spider-Man movie than a Doctor Strange movie. And if that
Yeah,
was
people
the
are going.
case,
This is
it
true.
would generate
Well,
more
Doctor
hype.
Strange does have a movie called Madness of the Multiverse. That's the next movie for him.
Well,
Oh.
shit. But
Shot myself in the foot. I did.
Just saying.
regardless, I would have found it cool. I kind of feel a little bit of Jag's frustration about villains turning out to be fakes. When that happened with the Mandarin, I was legitimately disappointed. And it happened again with Mysterio to a greater extent. because I had more interest in this aspect of the Marvel universe to open up.
Hmm.
So maybe that contributes to my
I
salt
think
on
it
this.
definitely does with you on this one.
But surely, if that does hit the case, we just have more movies like Into the Spider-Verse.
Hey, I'm okay with that.
I'm also okay with that, but I
What's
feel
it?
like keeping
Hey,
it separate.
I know your frustration, but what I think said is all I can say is, in due time you'll get what you want.
I guess the same could be said for you, eh? But
Yeah, I will get the freaking funny Mandarin.
regardless as well, I also really don't like villains being turned out to just be fakes as well. Um it really kind of feels like an underwhelming thing. Sure, this dude was actually still really smart, and he managed to make some devastating shit happen.
Mm.
But at that point, it felt, I don't know. I still felt cheated at that point.
Uh,
I mean,
uh,
that's a fair.
I do think
feel-
you're letting your salt affect you this time.
Like personally, I feel like it has that same effect of when you watch it multiple times, you can see, like
Oh,
you get to
dude,
understand that psyche.
I did rewatch this movie, and it's actually genius.
Yeah, like I
Because
love
you
shit
see
like that.
actually Mysterio hide in the background of several scenes without even looking.
Oh, seriously?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, so, there's scenes with Mysterio wearing just a baseball cap right behind Peter Parker walking around but not making himself be noticeable.
That's pretty cool.
It's actually pretty genius.
Like they put a lot of care and effort into this movie
I
for both
didn't.
superhero and non-superhero fans.
On that other note, I got my big salt out of the way.
Don't
I
worry, I had
Sweet,
mine.
now I can eat this
yeah
pasta.
I.
Oh.
There you go. I also didn't really care for the whole high school romance thing. I'm kind of over high school romance things in general, and seeing that was kind of that's my personal taste. I get that, but it's like,
Mm.
ugh, no, stop! I'm done with this.
I'm an adult now, watching superhero movies. Move on!
Oh, like
Yeah, I guess that's kind of why I enjoyed it so much. I guess I can relate
You
to it a
know, the
lot more.
age difference may make a difference here.
Yeah.
that's interesting. Actually, I didn't even think about that.
I kind of thought about that, but I
Because
didn't think it would
you can
make as much
probably
of a
relate
difference.
to Peter's struggles more than us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's fascinating.
That's going. Wait, there's actually good points here.
Yeah. It's almost like we're
God damn.
actually highly nuanced and we studied
Indeed
our
we are.
topics.
There was
Well,
still.
well, the thing is, I normally agree with you. I hate the twist villain, but I feel like it was really well set up throughout the movie, especially a second watching. You see a lot of hints everywhere in the background.
Okay, perhaps I
it's a
should have
shitty trope.
rewatched it, but
It's like a bad trope done the best way it could possibly be done.
Pretty much.
Which you can say that, you can think of that as you will. I think of that as more of an achievement, as to get the best of anything is impressive. At least to me.
Said, you go first. Where are you going to put it? And then Sen, and then I think I'll be kind
The
of the final one.
I'm gonna put
Alright,
this
so I
in a
think
B.
he's gonna go B.
Yeah.
Sen?
I was thinking very bottom of A. Well, I would have put it up like past Spider-Man, but I would have put Black Panther over Homecoming. But I'd say this is less than Black Panther. So
Then I'll put
bottom
it
of
at the
A.
top of B.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can
I
live
think
with
that
that
kind of
compliment.
satisfies everybody.
Yeah, right above Ragnarok. Ooh, that sounds weird.
Ragnarok the house.
Okay.
And this kind of shows how great Marvel movies have been.
Yeah.
Only 2 below
Only
C.
2 movies that we really hated,
We didn't even really hate them. We just found them boring.
and then 4 movies that we were kind of met on,
2 of
and then
which
the
we
rest
also
we liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, think about this: we got A, B, C, and D, and S. There's like what, 4 E, 7 other letters in the alphabet. These are some pretty good movies. Yeah, my math is
And you
wrong.
can't forget the Boruto tier. We didn't have any of her.
You mean
that low.
Thoruto?
Thoruto! God damn it!
Oh. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this list.
I guess Jag was the one who spearheaded it this time. So yeah.
Don't worry, next episode I'll hide in the background and be quiet.
No.
Because I know
None
it'll be
of
the
that.
quiet one.
No. None of that. No, we're gonna get.
Wait, Dad, I'm the quiet one.
Oh yes.
I'll be sure to be in the background and not be stealing the spotlight.
Oh gosh. Oh
You didn't
my.
steal it. You claimed what was rightfully yours today.
So next episode, which we'll probably discuss after this, like after the recording.
I will leave a small teaser. Think of it as a post-credit scene afterwards.
Yeah, you can probably do that as editor.
Oh yes, make sure to watch to the end of the video, guys.
Even though people come onto these videos and skip between each one just to see what their favorite movie came in.
Wait a minute. I got a good one for you. I got a good post-credit scene here. You ready for it?
So Derek, me and you, we're gonna have to watch until the end. I'm gonna have to do it regardless.
Most people just skip through the video.
Yeah, no, that's what people do. Like, lots of people come up to me and be like, "Oh, I usually skip for like what characters I want to hear about." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fair." Too bad most of them was like, "Oh, we haven't read, we haven't watched."
Alright. Well.
Oh my god, you changed it to Thor
You had fun with this little list, and
Little.
look forward to next time with